There's not too many Nissan S13s that can lay claim to producing 950 wheel horsepower while still being completely street legal and being able to go down the quarter mile in an 854 at 164 mile an hour. We're here with Paul from PJ's Quick Bits to find out what makes this insane S13 tick. So Paul, this car isn't new to you. You've owned it for about 11 years, but I'm interested in starting with what you've got in the car at the moment. It's still got an SR20 in there. 950 wheel horsepower is an insane power output for any SR20. So can you tell us what's been done to make that engine produce that power?
Yeah, it's a forged bottom end. It's a 2.2 litre BC stroker kit in there, and yeah, we've got Neo VVL head. It's a P12 head, and they're able to rev hard and make good power.
Let's talk about that head, because that's one of the areas that we've seen some really big power developments in the SR20 tuning world. The original SR20 DE and DET heads aren't known to produce massive amounts of power. When you take that later model head, it really just magnifies everything these SR20s can produce. So what's so good about that later head?
Basically, the valve train layout is a lot more reliable. You're able to it does away with the rocker issues that you have with the DET. Much bigger ports and two lobes on the camshaft, which gives you the best of both worlds, basically low down drivability and top end power.
So without trying to insult Nissan owners all around the world, this is essentially similar to the Honda VTEC mechanism?
Don't say that dirty word. No, absolutely. You're right, yeah.
Okay, now I'm going to guess that you are far from standard cams producing that sort of power. Are you still retaining that two-lobe mechanism, or are you on a fixed high-lobe cam the whole time?
No, because it's a street car and it does a lot of road kilometres, we've kept it with a Kelford basically a shelf cam, and yeah, it works really well.
Now, with the SR20 block producing that sort of power with a relatively weak cast alloy block is a challenge. Have you done anything there to make it reliable?
Yeah, we've got an aftermarket block in it, and we also have some custom Carrillo rods and thick wall CP pistons in there. Yeah.
Now, 2.2 litre, you've increased the capacity there over the stock 2 litre. That's to help spool the turbo as well as producing additional power and torque?
Correct. Drivability brings it has a decent sized turbo on there, so it does bring it up nicely. Yeah.
Let's talk about that turbo. What are you actually running on it at the moment?
So at the moment we've got a Precision 76-75 Sportsman Gen2 turbo. Has a 1.12 divided T4 rear on it. Yeah.
And what sort of boost are you running, and where are you seeing full power, full boost, I should say?
So we've got full boost at 43 pounds at about 6,000 RPM. We spin the thing to about 9.5 to 10, so it's still a pretty good power band. It starts making good positive usable boost pressure at about 4,000.
Yeah, that's pretty reasonable when you can rev it that hard. Now, getting that sort of power to the ground in any chassis is going to be challenging. You've got a fairly unique solution to improving the traction there. You've actually converted it to four-wheel drive, so I'm not too sure there's many S13s that are four-wheel drive. Tell us what you've done there.
As far as I know, it's the only one in the world, because it was quite an undertaking. Basically, what was happening when it was rear-wheel drive, we were going good at the track. Because it's a street car, it became sort of bigger. The bigger in turbo size we went, the less usable the power was. So we went, we basically grafted a GT-R sump, modified that with obviously the diff housing that comes with it, and made a billet adapter plate to fit onto the SR. Yeah.
So for those who aren't aware, with the R32, 33 and 34, the GT-R engine, the RB26 has a sump with an integrated front differential. So that's what you're talking about. You've essentially cut and shut the GT-R sump and converted that to fit to the SR20. That's
correct. And then we used the front subframe from the GT-R, the GT-R shaft. So we did a bit of trickery with the suspension and making it all adapt. And yeah, it works really nicely.
How has that sort of changed the car's power delivery capability compared to when you were running? I believe you ran that 854 that we mentioned earlier when it was rear-wheel drive with an H-pad and box. So how much has it changed the car's capability now being four-wheel drive?
It feels similar to being at the drag strip, but on a street surface now. You can really lay down the power and just let it feed it in, and it just hooks. Yeah.
What would you think it'd do now if you went back to the drag strip again?
Look, I don't think it would really go too much faster. If it is making more power, but it also is a heavier vehicle now. It's put on about another 100 kilos, so that's going to come at a cost down the strip. Yeah.
Talking about the rest of that four-wheel drivetrain, you've got a gearbox behind it that obviously needs to send drive forward to that GT-R diff. How are you doing that?
OS Geek in 88 sequential 6-speed, and then we're using the ATTESA system out of the GT-R as well, and we're using an aftermarket controller for the ATTESA. It's an ETS-Pro. Yeah.
So you've essentially got a full GT-R running gear in there, just fronted with the SR20.
Yeah, that's right.
And that OS 88 gearbox, this is a full sequential box, clutchless shifting. Are you using a gear change ignition cut system?
Yes, we've got a closed loop flat shift system on it, so I've got a sensor on the end of the sequential drum, and then obviously the load cell on the stick, and it's cutting through the Geartronics flat shift box. Yep.
Okay, you just mentioned the ATTESA, the four-wheel drive split controller. So tell us a little bit about how that works. What are you doing with that?
So what we're doing is we can adjust how much drive we feed to the front wheels depending on, it works on G-force and throttle position.
So is there a big advantage to be had in getting that optimised, and if so, sort of where are you using front drive and where are you sort of reverting to rear drive? Because that's one of the things with the GT-R four-wheel drive system. It's predominantly a rear-wheel drive package that then starts sending drive to the front wheels only when needed. Yeah, so how are you using that to optimise it?
Well, for a burnout, we can leave it in basically no gain to the front, and then it has two options, basically an automatic option where we can set a maximum and it'll apply that as it's required on demand, or we can have it locked from the get-go.
Let's just talk about the engine management with the car. What are you running there?
It's a Haltech Elite 2500. Yep.
And are you using that for any sort of advanced functions such as traction control or boost control, or are you doing that sort of independently?
Well, we're using boost over speed with this, so we've got settings in the ECU which we then control through the E-Boost, so we can sort of just do quick adjustments on the fly. And yeah, closed loop wideband. I think what else we're using through the ECU. We've got, to be honest with you, this whole thing is driven off the ECU.
I think we're seeing that more and more as the cars make more and more power. That ECU control and the tuning becomes obviously much more critical. Look, Paul, it's an amazing piece of work there, particularly with that four-wheel drive conversion. Making that sort of power is really impressive. And we wish you all the best for racing here at the Flying 500 at World Time Attack. Thanks for chatting to us.
Thanks, Andre. Thanks, HP Academy. You guys are doing great.
If you like that video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. And if you're not already a subscriber, make sure you're subscribed. We release a new video every week. And if you like free stuff, we've got a great deal for you. Click the link in the description to claim your free spot to our next live lesson. You'll learn about performance engine building and EFI tuning, and you'll also have the chance to ask questions which I'll be answering live. Remember, it's 100% free, so follow the link to claim your spot.